Hey everybody, it's time for spoilers and adventures in babysitting. And right to piggyback off of what I was saying, I didn't want to be too negative in the general review because in a lot of the general reviews I am negative just because then we don't have to do a spoiler review and talk all about the negative stuff in one video. But we're gonna do it because this main character, she deserves her own little spoiler review. She's the worst part of the movie. Wouldn't you agree, Safi? What's the worst part? What other part of this movie is bad besides her character?
I just didn't like her saying those things to those boys. And
yeah.
Especially when in the movie anyway, she's only a couple years older, but
2 years older.
I can see that happening by some people. Well, it depends on what size of school you go to, but like the size of school I went to, which was really my class, there was like 119 people.
But it's very negative, and it's it's a movie.
And they have to, and in this movie, they get in a lot of sticky situations. They face a gang.
And she never is thankful for anything that the brother does.
No.
She always looks, and that's one of the things about her, she always looks at this whole situation like it's horrible, and like she's so upset that, and that's another thing, her entitled behavior from the get-go. It's like this whole movie, they meant for this whole movie to be like, oh, she was inconvenienced by having to go babysit these kids.
And she doesn't have anything to do. She's not going out.
Oh, well, she has to babysit these kids. And she has to go do something with them and go to Chicago and save her best friend. And like, everything is like a chore for her to do. Oh, I don't have any money. I don't have a purse.
She forgot her purse.
We don't have a spare tire because they don't even have a spare tire in their car. They have a spare tire spot in their car, and she doesn't even have one. That's the kind of responsible person she is. And so, anyways, her whole character, everything about her is negative. There's not one scene in this entire movie where I like her. I don't even find her attractive. I think that she looks like she's in her late 30s. And you could have gotten a lot better actress to play her. Like, they were going for Julie Louise Dreyfus.
Mm-hmm.
I think she would have been better. They were going for another woman. I can't remember.
Well, you said Jodie Foster.
Ew. No. Ew.
No,
Ew.
she would not have.
Ew. Ew.
Oh, stop doing that.
And so, I'm just doing that to cover up the phone sound. Because we got another stupid fake phone call. But no, it was also Sharon Stone. And there you go right there. She was 29 at the time of this movie, but she looked like she was 18. And so I would have taken Sharon Stone over her. And then also you could have done Winona Ryder, who was she did Heathers a year after this movie, so she would have been like 16. She would have fit perfectly in the role. And so there you go. I gave you 3 better actresses. Why can't you do your job and cast actresses who can be a better main person? I mean, she's supposed to, the main character of a movie, you're supposed to like them, and you're supposed to want them to succeed, and be sorry for them when they're in a bundle or whatever. And this whole movie, I didn't feel a thing for her. I thought that she was a brat and that she was crappy to everyone the whole movie, except for like the college guy, and like 5 minutes after meeting him, she's slow dancing with him, and like just ugh, dude, she's horrible in this movie. Don't you agree, Safi?
Yeah, but I think you've covered it.
I just
didn't
discussing.
like her. I just didn't like her behavior towards those boys. And when you get in those situations, I mean, they had no money, they had a flat tire, they needed to get the money in order to get the tire, to get the car, to go back home. They, her friend Brenda was at the bus station, and there was a man waving a gun around at the station. There were homeless people. I'm not saying homeless people are evil, but there was like a rat, and she had her glasses stolen. She couldn't see without them, and so she picked up the rat and thought it was a kitten, and they never really showed it. That just they showed her like picking up something, but they never showed her picking up any rat. But the cleaning detail at the bus station say, put that down. We're going to get rid of it. And she said, how can you get rid of a kitten? They said, that's a sewer rat. And she could have gotten bitten. And I mean, she was in a bad situation. She had no money. And
but she didn't act like
it was the end of the world.
She didn't act like Chris did.
No, she was scared.
I'm not going to say anything bad about her or anything that she did in this movie.
There's nothing to say. It was because her dealing with everything, it was just hilarious.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad or negative. It was hilarious. So that was good. It was like slapstick comedy.
And you could have made a whole movie where she's the babysitter, and like, oh, what would happen if she was their babysitter, but then they really had to babysit her, or something like that.
Yeah, and then there was a thing with a Playboy magazine.
Yeah. I forgot all about that. We gotta talk about the pictures.
Back in those days, they don't have Playboy anymore. I don't think.
Yeah, they do. It's awful now. It's feminist crap. The women don't even show anything. They put transgender people in Playboy, and gross.
Well, anyway.
Not a men's magazine anymore.
Whatever.
And
that was a big thing back then about looking at your father's Playboys. I remember selling Girl Scout cookies and somebody saying they had their father's Playboys were in a secreted place in the basement in the storage area. And I mean, it's a thing that people talked about. And the kids would sneak peeks at the pictures.
Well, it is kind of creepy though, the fact that the best friend's father has a magazine with a picture of a teenage girl on it, 2 pictures of a teenage girl. I mean, even if she's not the girl, I mean, she's the girl in real life. I mean, Elizabeth took the pictures for the Playboy, and spoiler alert, the pictures are horrible. They're probably some of the worst pictures I've ever seen. And they're no pictures that you would see in a Playboy. And they did an interview with her, and she said that the most uncomfortable time as an actress that she's ever had was shooting these pictures, and she wanted to make it clear that she didn't take off any clothes, and that, but still she was extremely uncomfortable, and I can tell because the pictures are terrible. And so you should have gotten a different actress once again who would have been comfortable taking better pictures that would, I mean, they're not shown very much. I mean, they're flashed like once or twice. Like, it was really hard to screenshot them so that I could show Safi, like, just look how tame these pictures are. And so, but I really like that running joke in the movie that they mistook her for the Playboy figure, because that happens a lot with I mean I don't think that's ever really been a plot in a comedy movie where you have like a famous person and then people are mistaking the main person for the famous person, like a female, the way that they do it. I mean, it's funny the fact that there's a Playboy and the person in the centerfold looks exactly like her.
See, what happened was Daryl, Brad's friend, brought the magazine, and then he over to the house to show Brad that the girl in it looks exactly like her. In fact, I think they think it might be her because she looks exactly like her. And of course, in reality, it is her. But that wasn't in the movie. That wasn't supposed to be the case. It's supposed to be she looks exactly like this girl in the picture. And then when they go pick up Brenda, well, they didn't go pick her up right away. They had about 10 million things happen. He had the magazine with him, and that became a part of their problems, which I don't want to give away because it's the whole sequence of events. But the magazine is almost like tier 2 subject of the story. It becomes part of their problem and dealing with the problem and making a problem that comes up that could put them in jeopardy of their lives.
And one of the problems with the pictures is that they're built up throughout the movie to be these amazing pictures.
And then also,
because
you talk about the picture that it is supposed to be looking like her. Well, they run into people who think she's the person in the picture. So it isn't just that we're talking about this or they talk about that. It's at the house.
A lot of
it comes up
people.
Later on in the movie by other people that are strangers. They don't know them.
My favorite line, it was and another character that was really cool was the carjacker.
Yeah.
They're like, isn't this an uncanny resemblance of the picture? And he's like, no, she doesn't even compare to you. I thought, yeah, that's really sweet and everything.
Well,
they're the
really
same
nice.
person.
And
but in the beginning of the movie, if they didn't have lines like this, then it wouldn't matter to me. But Daryl, the pervert, that's his character. He's perverted.
well, he's very interested in his sexuality.
That's normal for most teen movies.
Yeah.
But he says, have you seen the centerfold picture? She has humongous boobs, and then you look at the pictures, you don't even see any boobs or anything. And so, like, what is he talking about? What is he like? Where did he get that from? See, that's the problem, is that you have a line like that, and then you see the picture, and it's like there's nothing to see. You couldn't even say that if you saw the picture. That's not something that you would say.
Okay, well, I'll just say my little spoiler because I brought it up in the first part. That is Mike at home with his sister? No, because Mike's sister isn't sick. And who knows, Mike's parents may not even be out on the town. They may all be at home. Mike had a date with another girl. And they actually run into them at a restaurant in downtown Chicago.
It's a fantastic scene.
And the only reason why they know he's there, you're probably saying, well, how did they do appear in all these restaurants looking for him? No.
It's because of his car.
His car has a distinct license plate.
It says, so cool.
And the car is distinctive too.
Which I am determined to get a license plate with so cool on it.
So they happen to see that, and then they go in, they're driving, and they stop and go in, and there he is sitting at a table with another girl out to dinner. Of course, if that would happen in real life, I bet the person in the restaurant probably would have fallen over in shock because of all the things. First of all, he didn't know she was babysitting now, and secondly of all, that she saw the car and went into that particular restaurant out of all the places in the world and all the times in the world. So anyway, a lot of funny things happen with that.
And I ragged on her appearance because I'm going to be honest and say what I actually think. about her appearance for the character, because she doesn't look like the character should. But I'm also going to rag on Mike's appearance, because as a kid, I thought that the Mike character, I thought that he was in his 40s or 50s. I thought that he was a married guy and that he was cheating on his wife with like teenage girls. And like I thought like he doesn't look like a high schooler or anything.
No, I didn't think he looked. I thought he was out of school.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in school.
He's supposed to be in school. He's supposed to be 17. I mean,
he
talk
does not
about
look 17 at all.
a lot of people rag on Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man, but look at this guy in Adventures of Babysitting. He looks like he's in his 50s. And so, anyways, he does give a good piece of advice to the brother, because the brother, he was really stuck on Chris, and she's clearly a horrible person who's not worth it. And he tells him to forget about her. He then says something very crude, but the first thing that he says is a good piece of advice. But I don't think that he's the villain of this movie. I think that the true villain of this movie is the main babysitter, because of her attitude and because of how they try to portray her. Like, there's so many lines where she's like, I'm having a horrible night. I'm having a terrible night. And so I was wondering, like, is that what this movie's supposed to be? Is this movie supposed to be like, oh, look at this poor girl. She's inconvenienced. She can't go on a date. She has to go babysit these kids. And so what I did was I thought actually the older brother had the worst night. And so I since I know the movie by heart, I wrote down a list of all the things that happened to the brother. The brother was not able to use the zit cream, excuse me, because his sister used it on a painting or a drawing or whatever. His love poem's secret is revealed by her. That's one of the things I don't like about her. I mean, she revealed a huge secret right in front of her about the love poems, Safi, and then he spills the macaroni noodles. Again, I'm not saying that other people are responsible for all these things. I'm just saying that you add all these instances up and they make for a horrible experience. Then he finds out she has a boyfriend. Then and it's Mike, a jerk and a bully and a cheater. And then he's embarrassed by his parents with the chocolate. Don't eat chocolate because you're going to have acne or whatever stupid crap, which is just, I don't know where that came from. Do you know where that came from?
It's been around for a while.
If you eat chocolate, you get acne?
Yep.
That's stupid.
Forever and ever.
Belittled for not having any money, being called a kid by her. Safi agrees that that's terrible.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
He gets stabbed in the foot for standing up for her. He gets a humiliating one stitch, and again, that's just something for him that he doesn't like, that he thinks makes him smaller. He gets told off by Chris, called a child once again when he confesses his feelings for her. He has to watch her close dance with the guy she just met 5 minutes ago. He gets threatened by Thor because of his sister once again doing something, and then has to close the blinds for Chris just so that she can kiss a guy that she just met earlier that night. And so then he admits he is consistently ignored by her in school. This is something that I forgot. He's like, if we ever see each other in school and I say hi and you ignore me like usual, like, ugh, I forgot about that. God, it just, ugh, her character is so unlikable. And then she is the only character to not get a love interest throughout the movie, almost. Because you have Chris. She gets that, stupid college guy as her love interest. Doesn't deserve it. And then Daryl, he gets multiple love interests throughout the movie. Like, my favorite one is when they're at the college party, and the girl, the girl comes up to the table and she just grabs him away and takes him to a corner. and then the little sister, she doesn't get a love interest, but she has good rapport with who she thinks is Thor. My point is that, like, all the other characters get so much better rewards than him. I mean, rewards is in, like, they all go through this horrible experience and they all get something out of it except for him. And then after all, overall he gets friend zoned at the end. I mean, explicitly, she says, "I don't ignore friends." And ugh. What do you think of that, Safi? Who had the worst night, Chris or Brad?
Well, I think Brad, because just the fact that he got stabbed in the foot, it could have been his chest or anything else. Could have been in the face. There were two rival gangs on the train, and they're about ready to get into a big fight, and the kids and the babysitter are right in the middle of it. And it was just by hook or crook that they got out of it. But in the midst of it, Brad got stabbed in the foot, and it's dirt. Who knows? The knife's dirty. We don't know if he's had a tetanus shot, although
they talked about
nowadays
that. They talked about it might get infected.
And I mean, it's serious stuff. And these people, they own the streets down there. They're used to being there. These are kids from the suburbs who are sheltered. They're not used to being out and amongst us. It's a whole scene, a whole culture, a whole different groups of people. They have no idea about. They don't. And I know what it's like there. And people in the suburbs are just like sheltered. Not all of them, but some of them, they are. It's just like that was a true representation. And they even said that about themselves. Well, we're from the suburbs. So anyway, it's a lot more fun downtown, a lot more meaningful. It's more interesting, believe me. I know. I've been there a million times.
Lastly, there are complaints somewhere, somehow, that this movie is racist.
No, I don't believe it at all.
And now, we're not even going to talk about that because
let's not.
The people who say that are mentally ill.
Well, they don't know what they're talking about. They're just really had it.
And so this movie is not racist. If you're worried
not
about
at all.
that,
Not at all.
if you're worried about, I don't want to show my kids some racist old movie, it's not racist at all. The only thing you have to worry about is that there's 2 F words in the middle of the movie. Do not worry about the Playboy pictures because
I could never see them. It's so dark because it's nighttime. So really, the whole movie takes place at night.
That's something that doesn't really attract me either. Is the fact that the look of this movie, it looks very, very cold and dark and just not appealing. And then you have all these sets where they go inside and they look so much nicer, like these nice warm
and inviting.
The college party looked really nice, and the garage looked cool with the smoke and everything. And so, and the music in this movie, I didn't like the music. I thought that, again, it's an 80s movie. It should have a more 80s soundtrack.
It didn't.
What?
It didn't have an 80s soundtrack.
I said it should.
I know. That's why I said it does. I don't think there's any 80s movie. And it's 87.
It's all 60s music.
Well, it's 87.
Yeah.
So I know what the music was at that time because that was MTV, and I remember the music from that time extremely well. And there's no 80s music, as far as I remember.
And if you want to watch a movie that takes place in Chicago, that involves a lot of misadventures, and involves and is in a lot better movie, go watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yep, that's another thing with people from the
Suburbs.
going out and doing different things, and the
Music in that movie is
city.
perfect. Everything about that movie is perfect. And that movie, you know, you have that stupid, disgusting plot of the ageism in this movie, with the girl being 17 and him being 15, and her behavior towards him, her appalling behavior. Well, then you have Ferris Bueller, and you have two fantastic female characters, and not that it matters that they're female, but just saying, you have Sloane, Ferris's girlfriend, fantastic character, and is never a disgusting person like Elizabeth Shue is in this movie. And then you also have Jeannie, Ferris's sister, and she's fantastic in the movie as well. And so there you go. Go watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off if you're really looking for a great teenage movie, because I think that Ferris Bueller did what this movie failed to do, and that Ferris Bueller is the better version of what this movie could have been.
Okay, well, I think we've talked about it enough. You did hear that Mike wasn't he wasn't at home, and you heard some other things about the Playboy picture, and they got a flat tire, and so I think you've got enough spoilers. But if you want to watch a funny movie, whether you're a kid or not, you might check this movie out because it really is hilarious. So I think we should end it. Okay?
No, we think that you should go check out all of our other movie reviews, and check out the Walking Dead reviews, South Park reviews, and all the other ones on our channel. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye.